So great. We are live on YouTube. Welcome on board, all of you. And I just want to welcome Louise to take us through today's topic, which is 15 categories of Bitcoin fund. So, Louise, let me just make you the host so that you can go ahead and take us through today's presentation.
Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you for the introduction. At least, welcome everyone. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear, Louise.
Thanks. Thank you very much. Welcome everyone. Makio, Lillian, Shi, Valerie, MK, and I'm still a bit new people. So as always, this is our Bitcoin 101, where we try and simplify some few points that maybe people listening out there, so they are, at least it's clear, because this is a big industry that is growing. The best thing that you can do for yourself is just to get a simple understanding, and that's why myself and Lawrence are here to help you do that. So today's topic, I thought to go through some bit of pointers on what could be maybe you'll be having some fears. So what FUD means, FUD, that is FUD, stands for fear, uncertainty, and doubt, because that is one of the emotions that actually people have, and they end up not looking at this space, or rather missing the whole picture. So at times people think that it's too much, but I've tried to pick out some points from one of the people that I follow in the crypto space, one of the early crypto adopters, also educators in terms of what you're doing, people that we follow, people that have been there longer than us. So I just thought to break down the points that he has shared. Even today, also, you may, I'll give, I mean, even you a chance just to tell us maybe what is your biggest fear after I've gone through the points. They are not entirely 15 points, but depending on how you see it, it can be as long as you want it, but at least they are like about 6 key points that people have. So lots of fear, lots of uncertainty, but let's look at the facts. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Let me go ahead and share my screen as I meet new people. Remember, we have our usual Telegram channel, whereby I think we share our daily market thoughts on how the Bitcoin price is moving. So don't feel that it's too much. It's just a simple discussion, a simple explanation of what fear, uncertainty, and doubt in terms of cryptocurrencies fall. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm still also admitting new people. So let me just admit the last one. I've just seen somebody. So admit. Okay. So yeah, we're also live on YouTube. So in case of any recording, this is recorded. You can always follow our YouTube channel, and also you can maybe ask myself or Lawrence if you need to get a recording. So thank you, Lawrence, for sharing the Telegram channel. You can actually follow that for further detailed information. So the screen is over there. Hope you can see it. So it basically says 15 categories of FUD, including, I think I'll go to the points, but I'll give credits to Dan Held, who's one of the early crypto people who actually adopted crypto back in 2010 in terms of running the nodes and also doing a bit of education. So, so in simple terms, whenever there is a Bitcoin run, meaning Bitcoin price is going to all-time highs, we have naysayers trying to cope with about missing the boat, because they think the Bitcoin price has gone too high. They have missed it. That's where they start instilling fear. They start talking about uncertainties, and also that in return creates doubt. That's where people would not want to perhaps hear about or even give a second thought to cryptocurrencies. And as I said, this is a big ecosystem that is growing and that you shouldn't miss. So So they are like, as you can see over there, we've had people saying Bitcoin is for criminals, even governments. Bitcoin is backed by nothing. It has no interesting value. Data manipulation. I'll actually break down this what it means. Energy consumption. That is one of the another fact that is out there. People are saying for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to run, it requires a lot of electricity, which is actually wasting. And I'll give you the facts on why that is not true. And of course, we have the government banning Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. So let's dive in. I'll just go to the first one that says Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. So complaining that it has no intrinsic value when the primary government currency absolutely has no intrinsic value. So this simple means that most people think that currencies are backed by gold, or dollar is backed by gold. But that was true until 1977. So that is no longer true. So now, at the moment, currencies are not backed by gold. It's just it does nothing. So these are quotes from the Federal Reserve Bank. I think that was put out, I think, a couple of years ago. And the quote say that Bitcoin units have no intrinsic value. The US dollar, the euro, the Swiss franc, any other currency out there have no intrinsic value either. So what is so different with Bitcoin? So that is actually just to demystify that factor that Bitcoin, just like any other currencies out there, it's not like it has its value. But of course, we are on a technology, so there's value in it. And in definition, what is intrinsic value? It's basically a measure of what an asset is worth. This measure is arrived at by means of an objective calculation or complex financial model. I don't want to go into that right now. Rather than using the current trading market price of an asset. So today, if you check very quickly how much is one Bitcoin, so just go to Prim. Let's see the price of one Bitcoin as of now. So as we can see over there, one Bitcoin is going for, that is what, $55,000 as of now. So that tells you what you're talking about actually as value. Whether intrinsic or not, the value is there. The second point whereby you find people talking, instilling fear, is that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are used for money laundering or purchase of drugs. So as you can see over there on the screen, approximately 2 trillion a year globally is laundered. That is money laundered by who? Of course, the banks, which is actually quite interesting. And there was a report, as you can see over there, American spend over 150 billion on drugs annually. That is on cash, not actually crypto. That is on cash, dollars and pounds or whatever. So the whole crypto market cap in terms of I think when this document was being done, it was at 1.1 trillion. Today, the Bitcoin market cap is at $1.7 trillion. $1.7 trillion. So you can't really compare that. This is actually it holds no water. So the problem, of course, at the end of it, rests with government money. That is the dollars, pounds, Kenya shillings, rands, and that. Not Bitcoin or crypto, which is which most operate on transparent ledgers that make it hard to obfuscate funds. Because with the open blockchain, you can track any transaction, and that is actually opposite of what these governments or these institutions are telling us. So in summary, cryptocurrency represents a low risk for money laundering and terrorist financing activities. That is as per FATFC. That's one of the bodies in the US that deals with the financial money laundering and stuff. So that is at least I'll give you the facts on that one. The other point is that volatility. So at times people say Bitcoin is too volatile, cryptocurrencies is too volatile. There is all ups and downs. But we need to remember that the only constant in any market, whether it's the NSE, whether it's the New York Stock Exchange, whether it's any market out there, volatility is there. You will find 10% today, minus 30% tomorrow, all that. So that is volatility. So no one says gold isn't a good store value because the price fluctuates. But we hear that all the time when Bitcoin has some price movement, or it has crashed, it is going dead. You see, it's volatility. It is applicable for all the markets. That is one thing that maybe they should be clear. So below is the price. If you look, there's a photo it was taken, and you can see that over the last 100 years, look how stable, stable gold as is, if you want to call it stable. So that's the diagram over there. So you can see from 1920 to, of course, at the moment, you can see this up and down. That is volatility, but apparently Bitcoin is very special that it's actually given all the sorts of names. So that is how gold has been volatile. So Bitcoin is also having a similar movement, so which is actually not different. The other point whereby people talk about much is that Bitcoin is a bubble. That is, I think, one of the common points that, or fear, uncertainty, and doubt that is out there. Bitcoin is a bubble. So as per JP Morgan, he says funds typically don't last 12 years. So what are funds? Are basically things that come and go. So if something lasts more than 12 years, I don't know, do you still call it a bubble after 12 years of existence? So it provides the world with the best digital store value ever created, allowing people to store value that is hard to size, transmit to anyone else in the world without permission. That is through the blockchain. So this particular diagram you're seeing over there just compares Bitcoin tulip bulbs. That is one of the biggest bubbles that happened back in the years. South Sea Company, that's another company that actually crashed in terms of its share price and stuff, and also the dot-com bubble when Google, Yahoo was actually launching. So you can see the orange line has been actually growing 12 years to date. The tulip bulb actually lasted only 3 years, and it crashed. Basically, it was a bubble that actually busted. South Sea Company, the shares went up, then of course it tanked. All that Nasdaq, of course, you can see it was on a straight line, not really going anywhere. But you can see Bitcoin is clearly going upwards, and this is what people should know. Bitcoin is not a bubble; it's just a new store of digital value that is actually gaining momentum. It's a global platform or network of computers that is running digitally, that has no permission. Everybody runs by themselves. So with that knowledge, I think next time you hear about Bitcoin is a bubble, ask the person, can you quantify your words? What do you mean is a bubble? So I think that will actually explain one or two things. The other point, number 5, is that control. People are so much hard stuck to control. They want to say, oh, what is the government saying? Oh, what is so saying? But remember, control is come in the sense of monetary policy. That's why now we have central bank. So if you look at the current system that we have, it is controlled by a couple of people, and Bitcoin code is open source and it is auditable by anyone. Today, no one here can actually audit central bank. No one can audit any central bank, and that is one of the key things that people need to know. But with Bitcoin protocol, you can actually audit it on the blockchain open network. Simple as that. But what is failing us is lack of information. People are just going with the hearsay. So that is one of the points that maybe we have it clear today. The other point is that, which is actually very common, is that Bitcoin is manipulated. That is another thing that I think I've had a couple of times. So over the last decade, banks globally have been fined with more than $300 billion in penalties for manipulation, following investigations into manipulation of various markets instruments, that is FX, metals, Libra, etc. So these cumulative fines of what the banks have been fined is just a third of the total crypto market cap that is existing. So really, I think there is no point here. They're just trying to make a noise where there is no people to listen to. So in short, every market has a manipulation, but that doesn't make it priceless real. As you can see today, what's the value of one Bitcoin? $53,000. So despite all the talk of manipulation and everything, it's a growing asset through time. So Bitcoin is not worse than any other markets. Bitcoin is one of the most liquid assets in the world. It has price discovery across dozens of venues and has transparent order books data feeds to everyone. So you can go to open blockchain today and check the Bitcoin price and anything. It doesn't need you to rely on a third party. So that actually So Oscar says, what do you say? Why do you say Bitcoin being available in no real life use case? I believe so, and I've been okay since. Yeah, that's amazing, Oscar. I think you're one of the people actually who see value in it. So, but these are some of the things that people say out there. We just trying to demystify it, that people out there talk about these points about why Bitcoin is not does not have a use case or does not have a intrinsic value. So we just try to summarize the points. So the point number 7 is Theta. Theta is one of the stable crypto currencies that is actually paired on one for one, $1 for one Theta. So that's how Theta is basically a cryptocurrency that is pegged on 1-to-1 to the dollar. So what is that? One stable coin which only represents 3% of Bitcoin market cap could add Bitcoin on. So what people do here, people normally when they make profits, they buy USDT, because USDT is just an insurance that you are not losing value, because it's $1 to $1. So that is what people say. But just because Theta issuance went up while Bitcoin went up doesn't mean it can cause it. It can cause it. USDC or any other popular stablecoin had the same correlation, which entirely intuitive as folks are wiring money to take advantage of the arbitrage opportunities, which I actually talked about. When the Bitcoin price goes up, people usually capture the profits with Theta. You buy Theta to hold the USD value. But when the Bitcoin price goes down, Theta usually stays at $1. It doesn't really change much. But of course, Theta is printed by a company. There's a company that is that prints it, but it's only represent 3% of the Bitcoin market cap. So it doesn't really hold much point or value. So Alex, I think let me just finish and I'll look up the points later. So the big last one is what we call energy consumption. So that is one of the biggest lies or rather points out there that are being propagated, that Bitcoin network or cryptocurrencies spend a lot of energy. So complaining about energy consumption without first comparing it to energy, let me admit some people. Comparing about energy consumption without first comparing to the energy consumption of gold mining, the financial system, governments, courts, military, the selfies that people take, or watching citizen news or a football match by DSTV. It takes electricity. So let's look at this diagram just to put it into perspective. If you look at gold mining, in 1 year, they spend about $105 billion in terms of mining alone. In terms of gold recycling, they spend about 40 billion in a year in terms of cost. Paper, currency, and minting, $28 billion. The banking system costs about 1.8 billion in terms of cost. Government spent about 27,600. That's $27 billion. That is yearly cost. Bitcoin mining only takes what, 4.5 billion. So you can see the lies that these corporates or governments propagate. The facts are right there. It's not as expensive as they say. So you have the facts, so at least you can better explain or rather talk about cryptocurrency without fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So the point is get an understanding, get to know, ask questions so that we can at least get to discuss together. So let me see on the chats. Somebody was asked a question. Let me see. I think yeah. Oscar said Bitcoin. What do you say to Bitcoin being available with no real use case? So Oscar, first of all, Bitcoin has a use case. You can see it is the digital soul value as of now. You can liquidate it anywhere. You can use it anywhere. So it is actually it's going to be even more valuable as we go by.
Can I chime in?
Sorry,
I'm the one who asked the question. No?
Yes, Oscar.
My name is Oscar. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm at the coast. I'm from the Expatch group.
Okay. Oh yeah. Yes, Oscar. Yeah. From Martin. Yes, I remember.
Yeah. So I've been in Bitcoin for quite a number of years. from when it was below $1,000.
Meaning
it kept
you
fluctuating 500, 700, going down.
Okay, meaning you bought or you are just watching the price? There's a difference.
No, I bought. I made quite some amount of money, but I used to buy and then sell. Buy, make my money, then sell. Yeah,
that's
just
awesome.
to be on the safe side. I wish I would have kept at it, but
yeah. So yeah.
So my opinion is,
Yes.
I think just like you remember the .com bubble where there was so much hype, and with the new world order kind of a thing. This thing will take over. It will do this. It will do that. And all those good things.
Actually,
and the price kept
right
going.
Yeah.
And the price kept going up and up and up.
Yeah.
Until it came to correct. And now say like websites and valuable things like the Apple, Microsoft, and use case values, things that are valuable, got to a stable price, and and now it continued from there. I am of the opinion the same will happen to Bitcoin. You cannot right now, you cannot go to the shop and buy a loaf of bread with the Bitcoin.
True.
Much as people are speculating it's $50,000, $60,000, and it's going up. There is no real use case. Yeah, I believe a time will come when now people will, if you want a cup of coffee, you can pay with Bitcoin and all that. And that time has not yet come. Right now, there's so much euphoria and so much excitement.
Speculation.
I think it is wise to, I think it is wise to state that. I think this is a period to make your money with your eyes open. Until such a time when you remember the recent correction, or just a few years ago,
there has been actually
the
more
price
than
just came
4
down.
corrections. There has
Exactly.
been very many corrections.
The last one was the worst, and there was a long period of drought where people weren't sure whether Bitcoin will come up. Yeah. And I think I also ascribe to the advices of Warren Buffett, where he says when there's when people are afraid of something, be greedy, and when people are excited about something, be very, very afraid. So right now there is so much excitement about Bitcoin. I am very, very afraid as it is. So
actually, sorry to cut short, Oscar. It's basically that's why we have these sessions to enlighten people, just to give people beyond the excitement. You have to have soberness. So that's why we don't like hype. We give people facts that the reasons why Bitcoin is going to be valuable in the near future, and why you should actually, as you say, engage with open eyes. Don't just overreact or not take any action. Just have an open mind. So, any other perhaps comment from the 6 points or 7 points I shared before I send the hosting rights back to Lawrence to give us the summary of the week's breakdown in terms of news, because there's been a lot of happening this week. So I believe they should be exciting. So any other comment that somebody has to say something, because I think we are almost halfway before I take the hosting rights back to Lawrence. Any comment? Let me see on the chats. Okay, so okay, there's no comment. Just remember, we are here for any clarification, any question that you may have. But all in all, thank you very much for listening to me. If you need this breakdown on document, I can actually share it. It's a Google document. I can share it. But nonetheless, thank you very much, and see you soon. I'm still here, so you can post any question on that. So Lawrence, let me send the hosting right back to you. Thank you. Yeah, Lawrence.
Awesome, Luis. Thanks for that amazing presentation that you had, and also thanks, Oscar, for your opinion in regards that Bitcoin does not have real value. And I think I'll also be clarifying that in some of the news I'll be sharing today. that Bitcoin has a real use case, and it does have real value. And this is the reason as to why since 2018, institutional investors have seen what Bitcoin is. Since 2009 to 2018, institutional investors never ever saw anything good in Bitcoin. People like Michael Slayer, this guy of MicroStrategy. 2013, he called Bitcoin what? It's like gambling. That's what he said. Today, MicroStrategy is one of the biggest companies that is buying all the Bitcoins on trading platforms. Why? Because he has seen Bitcoin has matured to a point where it has real intrinsic value to be like, and I'll be showing you like even statements from the federal government chairman, what he said about Bitcoin. But now you don't expect somebody to buy a loaf of bread with Bitcoin, because remember, even gold as a store of value, there was a time you could exchange gold for a piece of bread. But today, can you take a piece of gold and go and buy it with a piece of bread with it? Nah, you can't do that. So we'll have, and this is why we have alternative coins, other cryptocurrencies. There are other cryptocurrencies you can use to go and buy a cup of coffee so easily. Because if you go and buy a cup of coffee using Bitcoin, the fees are a little bit high. But you can use other cryptocurrencies that they are also almost free to do a transaction when you're buying a cup of coffee. This is why we have alternative coins. So Bitcoin has its real value, and it's gonna occupy its own space as time goes by. Another thing I'll tell you, there's one thing I came to learn. In the crypto space, traders don't make no money. Holders do. Because this is an asset. You want to make money in the crypto space, think long term. And this is the reason as why you see institutional investors are coming on board. They're not buying Bitcoin today and sell it tomorrow to make a 10% margin. No. These guys are thinking 5 years, 10 years to come. If you hold, if Mr. Oscar, if I can use you as an example, if you held your Bitcoin when it was below $1,000, today you'll be how much worth today? Over $55,000. So let's think long term when it comes. It's a class of asset. It's not a speculative kind of asset. It's a class of asset where you're gonna think long term. You don't buy gold today and sell it tomorrow. You don't do that. And I think this is why we have Bitcoin 101, so that we can also have a mind shift. Because traders will always lose money in any asset class, but investors will always make money. When you hear Warren Buffett saying, be greedy when others are fearful, and be fearful when others are greedy, Warren Buffett buys things when nobody knows. Bitcoin is still in its early stages, and cryptocurrencies. A lot of people right now, trust you me, they don't even understand what cryptocurrencies are. Ask 10 of 20 of your friends. So greed has not even entered the market, bro. It hasn't. We're still way too early. Right. When your neighbor will call you, knock on the door and tell you, have you heard about Bitcoin? Just know that time. Now that's when greed will be coming. Look at Warren Buffett, what he does. He buys stuff, waits for 10 years, sells for billions of dollars, and he's good to go. Investors.
In fact, he says he never sells what he buys.
Yes. he never sells, but he does what? He only buys. He buys. And that's the mentality I want all of us who are in this podcast today to have. Let's think long term. Let's not become speculative in traders, because we will always leave money on the table. Let's think long term. To the news, I just needed to clarify something about what Oscar shared. So allow me to go to the news as I admit a few more people here. So I hope all of you can see my screen.
Yeah, you can see it. Maybe just zoom it in.
Okay, a little bit. There we go. So I'll start with the federal chairman, Powell. And of course, he sees Bitcoin as a substitute for gold rather than the US dollar. And I think also this answers your statement, Oscar, because Bitcoin is not for buying a loaf of bread. No, there are altcoins that will take care of that. Bitcoin is a hedge for you storing your wealth for long term. Okay, and of course, there's a statement he made Chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, on Monday reaffirmed his belief that the world's oldest cryptocurrencies is a gold substitute, but it's also too volatile and is backed by nothing. I want you to notice that answer, that statement, backed by nothing, for it to replace the US dollar. And it won't essentially replace the digital dollar. Good, awesome. Good statement. At least he has acknowledged Bitcoin has increased its value for it to replace what? Gold as a store of value. Now, he got an answer from former OCC official who says cryptocurrencies are backed, but dollar may not. This is the answer he was giving the chairman, the Federal Reserve chairman. And he said, former OCC acting, just 1 second. Former OCC acting comptroller Brian Brooks claimed that cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin actually are backed by something. And we all know Bitcoin is not backed by air. It's backed by maths, algorithms. The science behind cryptocurrencies is cryptography. And for any transaction to happen, you have to solve a cryptographic puzzle that allows a transaction to happen. So there's a lot of people say Bitcoin is not backed by nothing, but there's a clarification. In fact, there's something this gentleman said, former acting comptroller of the currency of the United States Office of the Comptroller of the Currency has claimed that cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin have stronger backing, while the US dollar may not have any. This is someone who used to control, like you have seen, he used to control the office of the Comptroller of Currency. And of course, he was answering the statement by US Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome. Now, there's something I saw and I meant to read. In response, Brooks said that there are many reasons why people have flocked to Bitcoin over the past year. And it's also good to note that since September, in fact, I think I was discussing this with a few of my friends and I was telling them, since September, we were at around the market cap of cryptocurrencies, whole market cap of cryptocurrencies was less than $500 billion. If you check the cryptocurrency market cap today, we are talking about $6 trillion, if I'm not wrong.
I think it's 1.7 something.
1.7 trillion dollars. Let's just see how much it's at. And this is something I just want to just
1.7, yeah.
Yes, here we are. So you can see on my screen, today's market cap is around $1.7 trillion. So, which means in the last September, October, November, December, January, February, we are in March. In the last less than 8 months, institutional investors have pumped in over $1.2 trillion to the crypto market space. And the question rings in my mind, do you think they will be pumping all that money if Bitcoin is backed by nothing? Why, like you can pump in all that money and then it's a bubble and it bursts and everything goes. It's food for thought. So including the Fed dramatic increase in the dollar supply, I think we all know there's a stimulus check that happened last week of $1.9 trillion. And that's money backed by nothing coming to the market. So when you do that, it means that the dollar is at least less percent, at least a 40% less good store of value than it was a year ago. And that is one of the reasons people opt Bitcoin, he stated. So you understand why institutional investors are pumping money into Bitcoin. If you've been following since the pandemic happened last year, I think I was reading somewhere over 40% of all circulating USD dollars have been printed in the last 12 months. I was listening to a podcast. In fact, it's one of the podcasts that is held by one of the guys who's been in the space for so long. And they were talking and they were saying over 40% of all circulating USD dollars have been printed the last 12 months. So what will happen to the value of the dollar? Of course, it will buy more. It will buy less than it used to buy a year ago. So do you think people will hold on to their dollars they have? No, they're gonna look for alternatives. And which is the best alternative that has proven over 12 years that it has value? It's Bitcoin. So I just wanted to show you that, of course, this gentleman came back, Brooks came back, and of course he answered, or he disagreed with what the federal chairman said. And it's also good to note that in reference to the United States abandoning the gold standard under the President Richard Nixon in 1971, Brooks said, the point I really want to make is that dollar may not actually be backed by anything, but cryptocurrencies are actually backed by something. They are backed by underlying networks, and what you're buying when you buy a crypto token, wherever it is, Bitcoin or anything, you're buying a piece of financial network built to transact all kind of stuffs. I think that answers anybody who says Bitcoin is not backed by anything. To other news, we all know Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And of course, he says, money makes you happy. I think a lot of people say money is the root of all evil, but it's a statement I always tell people, lack of money is the root of all evil, not money. Lack of it is the root of all evil. That's when you start thinking of bad things. Anyway, Robert says money makes you happy, and Bitcoin is real money. This is a gentleman I follow. I read his book. I think currently I'm reading one of his books called Fake. He wrote this book called Fake Teachers, Fake Assets, and Fake Money. A really interesting book if you really want to go to really understand how markets work and stuff. So early today, March 21st, Robert Kiyosaki, the highest successful author of Rich Dad Poor Dad series of personal finance books, gave his latest thought on relationship between money and happiness. So I think you can follow Robert Kiyosaki. I read his articles each and every other day, and you can trust you me, do money make you happy? So Robert says gold and silver are God's money. Bitcoin is open source people's money. So gold and silver are God's money. Bitcoin is open source people's money. And of course, on a tweet he did a few days ago, he says, anyone who says money doesn't make you happy is sick puppy who has never been broke. Money is a drug. It makes you happy. Problem is when the drug wears off, people get unhappy. Buy gold, silver, Bitcoin, real money, and stay happy. So this is Robert Kiyosaki's statement on 21st of this month. To other news, it's good to know that Douchebag Bank, they did a survey, and now they state that Bitcoin is the third largest world currency. Bitcoin is the third largest world currency. And of course, you can see this is now where people see Bitcoin as a currency, not as a store of value. But it's good to note that it's been growing. I think 2 years ago it was at number 6. So now it's good to note that Bitcoin has already gone to number 3. It's gone to number 3. I don't want to go into details on that. Now, it's also good to note that the number of Bitcoin whales holding at least 100 Bitcoin surges or burgeons. So let's see, if you have 100 Bitcoins today, how much would you be worth? If you have 100 Bitcoins today, how much are we looking at? So if you have 100 Bitcoins today, you'll be standing at $5.4 million. $5.4 million. It's good money. I do believe that's good. That's good money. You can do some good investments in, and of course, you climb the financial ladder. So it's good to know that strong hands, and this may be also now, this explains what I was talking about, that investors make money, traders don't make money. Traders don't make money. And there's a statement here. Holders will usually sell their coins in hope of maximizing the highest gains. But also, in a quote, it states, strong hands will resist the temptation to sell, and this collectively action builds up an opportunity cost. Every day, hodlers actively decide not to sell, increases the cumulative absent opportunity cost called the hodl bank. The hodl bank. So the people who, in fact, who give Bitcoin value increase are the people who don't trade, because the lesser the supply and the demand is increasing, of course, we always see Bitcoin price going up and up and up. If you go on Twitter, you'll see some guys who have laser beams in their eyes. These are hodlers. And of course, they said they will remove those laser beams eyes when Bitcoin hits $100,000. So these are people who are looking at this all-time high of Bitcoin hitting $100,000. So great. We are all looking forward to see whether Bitcoin will hit that all-time high. So in other news, just 1 second, I need to move the.
There's a close button below the diagram. But yeah,
That's
just
what
at the center. At the center.
My screen is not showing me that. Just 1 second.
Just below the phone. That phone you're seeing.
Okay. Cool. I had the tab down there for the Zoom, so I could not see it. So anyway, we've been talking about CBDCs, central bank digital wallet, digital currencies, CBDCs. I think we started talking about CBDCs in Louis, was it in 2019? 2019, 2018 there, where governments are coming up with their own, whether they're coming up with their own digital tokens or digital currency. Which is just normal currencies, fiat currencies changed into Bitcoin, because I think we are just in this decade, I think we'll just go cashless. Most of us even don't touch money nowadays. You just use your mobile banking, you use your things like M-Pesa, mobile money transfers, and you can stay even for a whole month without touching physical money. So you can see Chinese launched their digital yuan, and you can see major Chinese banks are now allowing people to apply for digital yuan wallets. So 6 state-owned banks are now allowing public users to apply to activate digital yuan wallets in Shanghai and Beijing, suggesting yet another step toward a wider rollout. So I think this is something which you're gonna see happening in this decade, where a lot of central banks will adopt to central bank digital currencies. Of course, a lot of them are viewing what are the pros, what are the cons before we go into CBDCs. In other news, I saw this very interesting. I think, Louis, you remember we started following this lady a few years ago, and I'm so proud of this lady, Katalin Long, and she's the CEO of Avanti, and she's the first lady to file for the first digital bank. And it's amazing. It's how digitization shift is happening. And I don't want to go into details, but this excites me beyond words. So Avanti finalizes $37 million Series A round, preps digital bank launch. So I'll just read these. The company is using the proceeds of the funds for the regulatory capital required to launch its digital asset bank, engineering costs, and other operating expenses. So all these $37 million will only be used for regulatory purposes, and then engineering costs and other operating expenses. So she was just raising funds. I think we saw this last year, Louis, when she launched this Series A round of fund raising for her bank. In moving to other news, these are some of the institutional investors who have come in big into Bitcoin, and Grayscale is one of them. And it's good to know that Grayscale Bitcoin Trust outpaces Tesla by 50% this year, Bloomberg's chief commodity analyst says. And I think now it's exciting that now even companies now have started comparing their strengths or their muscles using Bitcoin. I think we're gonna see a whole lot of stuff happening in the near future, where like if you're an institutional investor or you're a company and you don't have Bitcoin in your portfolio, I don't think you'll have a very bright future. And this is not a financial advice. Of course, do your own research before you jump the gun and buy Bitcoins using your hard-earned money. So this Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is gaining the upper hand over Tesla. Bullish underpinnings for GBTC are gaining legs as it outpaced Tesla's by almost 50% this year. This increasing probability for Bitcoin ETFs in the US is supporting the price, but contributing to the GBTC discount. So it's good to note that. On other news, another big player in the market, we all know Goldman Sachs, and Goldman Sachs applies for Bitcoin-related investment product. So you can see all these institutional investors who are so much against Bitcoin over 12 years. Right now, they have seen Bitcoin is not what they call bubble. It's not used for terrorism. It's not used for money laundering, all the things. It's not a scam. It's not a pyramid scheme. It has proven with time over 12 years that it has intrinsic value. And of course, nobody wants to be left behind. And this is why I usually, most of my presentations, I tell people, there's a way money flows when a new technology comes. And it happens in 4 steps. Number one, people to make money in any flow of innovation are innovators and angel investors. These are people who are risk takers. These are Elon Musk. These are Chamang. These are people who invest even when people don't even have any idea that something exists. It's high risk, high return. The second people to come on board are corporates. Now, corporates take time before they jump into anything new. But remember, most of these angel investors are also the owners of these corporates. So they test with their own money. And when they prove that something is good, they usually come back on board and they use the company's now portfolio to increase their holdings in a particular innovation. And I think Bitcoin is one of the things that we have seen this happening. I do believe people like Elon Musk didn't, in person, I do believe these guys bought Bitcoin a long time ago. I don't believe that this is the time they're buying Bitcoin. But now they're corporates like Tesla and the rest. This is when they're coming on board as the second people who make money. The third people who make money when any new innovation comes is governments. And of course, when corporates come on board, the other thing that will happen is government will sit down and they're like, okay, innovators and angel investors have made money. Second people, corporates are coming on board. How can we have the piece of the pie? So we come up with the regulation, not for the people, but to take taxes. Most of the people will say, oh, I'm waiting for the government to tell us Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are good so that I can get on board. Wait, they are not there for you. They are coming for the piece of the pie, and they usually take number 3. And number 4 people to make money during new innovation are the laggards or end users, and these are the masses. So I always tell people, ask yourself as an individual, where are you at during this transfer? The greatest transfer of wealth in history is happening right now. How have you positioned yourself and your family so that you don't miss out on this boat? So you can see I'm really excited when I see all these institutional investors coming on board, because of course I know they are not buying Bitcoin today to sell it tomorrow. These are long-term hodlers, and of course Bitcoin will always continue to go up and up and up. So in another news, this is another institutional investor we all know. Asset management giant Fidelity files for Bitcoin ETF. Again, look at this. A new filing with the U.S. Securities Exchange, SEC, Commission indicates that asset management giant Fidelity is seeking to create a Bitcoin exchange traded fund, ETF. So you can see where the world is heading. And it's the high time you as an individual ask yourself, as you are waiting for the government rules to come on in play and stuff, what are you doing? Because you're not limited to owning Bitcoin today. You're not limited today to owning any cryptocurrency. This is not a financial advice, but I'll tell you, do your own research. Go out there, seek information. And this is why we have Bitcoin 101. We are not here to promote Bitcoin. We are not here to promote anything. We are just here to share information of what is happening in the world. In other news, Coinbase is one of the biggest crypto exchange in the whole world. It started in the US, very big also in the UK. And they also have a crypto wallet. I don't know whether it works here in Africa. There was a time they had said they will allow 3 African countries. Kenya was included, but I don't think they really followed up on that. But Coinbase is hiring in India despite potential crypto crackdown. Why? This now goes back. When people are fearing, that's when you lay your foundation. And they totally understand. By the time now, the government is really fighting Bitcoin in India, what is happening? People are getting aware there's something called Bitcoin, and curiosity will rise. With curiosity comes people understanding, and demand will go up. And this is how investors think. When everybody is running away, that's when you go in. That's when you go in. But what will help you go in? Just one key thing, information. So Coinbase is really eyeing India, and you can see there. It's also good to know that New Zealand Retirement Fund reportedly allocates 5% to Bitcoin. Aha. Institutional uptake of BTC is on the rise. Kiwi savers of New Zealand appears to have built an exposure to Bitcoin in October 2020, not now, October 2020. As I read this, I'll say one thing: don't allow anybody to hold your Bitcoins, because there's one saying that is out there: not your private keys, not your Bitcoins. So even if you're saving money in a fixed deposit account and your institution tells you we're gonna be buying and holding Bitcoins for you, just tell them, give me my money, I buy Bitcoin and hold it for myself. This is a story for another day. Moving on swiftly. Of course, we like I said, just the other day, the U.S. government printed over $1.9 trillion, and they gave this as stimulus check because of the lockdown that is ongoing there. And cryptocurrency investments with stimulus check surges in the U.S. So there are people who, once they get their money, they're not using it. They're just buying Bitcoin. They're just buying Bitcoin, and it's showing that over 7%, roughly 7% of the guys who got stimulus check, roughly 7% of people, Americans surveyed, use their stimulus check to buy cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum, This is a good survey that. It's also good to note where fiat currency is moving. We all know Microsoft as a company, and Microsoft launches identity platform on Bitcoin's blockchain. It's always good to know that also blockchain, I usually say cryptocurrencies to blockchain is like email to internet. So blockchain has so many other use cases that we're gonna see as it matures on. And one of the things is identity. And you can see Microsoft as a company, they have launched identity platform on blockchain, Bitcoin's blockchain. Moving on swiftly, Bitcoin rewards app Lori. I think we all know there's an app called Lori. It allows you to do purchases using Bitcoin. And you can see they had a fundraising, and one of the people who gave their money is Serena Williams. She did $5 million. Also, another person is Alexine Ohanian, and more people. So Serena Williams raised $5 million and gave this app. They were looking for more funding to grow their, of course, their market and venture. And of course, people are looking at where can I diversify into. So Serena Williams decided to, of course, diversify by investing in this app called Lori. It allows you to shop with Bitcoin, and also when you shop, it gives you rewards in Bitcoin. And they are eyeing international expansion with the backing of celebrity investors. Go ahead, Luis. Hello, Luis, can you hear me? Okay, moving on swiftly as Luis is coming back. So the web browser plugin rewards users with Bitcoin for shopping at partnered retailers, and now it's eyeing international expansion with the backing of celebrities. So this is an app that's been used in the US for quite some time. And as they are eyeing international, of course, expansion, you can see celebrities like Serena Williams and the rest are coming on board to invest in the app. So moving on swiftly, March 24th, Elon Musk, the second most wealthiest man in the whole world, he said you can now buy Tesla with Bitcoin. You can now buy Tesla with Bitcoin. And you see, what I noted after that is the statement below there. It's a statement below there. In fact, not you buying Bitcoin, Tesla with Bitcoin. It's the statement that was below there. And he said what? Tesla is using only internal and open source software and operates Bitcoin nodes directly. Look at that. They're also running Bitcoin nodes. And Bitcoin paid to Tesla will be retained as Bitcoin, not converted to fiat currency. This answers the statement or what we were discussing earlier, that people who are coming in Bitcoin, they are real investors. Don't convert your cryptocurrencies to fiat currency if you don't need that fiat currency. You're losing money. 5 years or 3 years from now, you look back and you wonder, why did I sell my Bitcoin when Bitcoin was at 55,000? Did I really need to buy that thing? Did I really need to buy that stuff? You can, and I remember also there's somebody when Tesla said this, there's somebody who tweeted and said, you remember the guy who bought Bitcoin, who bought pizza 2010 using 10,000 Bitcoins. There's a gentleman who tweeted, I can't remember who tweeted, and he said, 10 years from now, somebody will wish they never bought a Tesla with Bitcoin because it will just be like the guy who bought 2 pizzas in 2010 with 10,000 Bitcoins. There's somebody who tweeted that. I think I saw it on Twitter, and I think I screenshot, and I think I sent Louis at some point this week. So it's going to happen again. And I want to just to show you what this means. What this means. 2016, 2017, we met a couple that was buying a car from Japan, and they were buying their car from B Forward. They were buying their car from B Forward. And I remember back then, B Forward would give up to 25% off when you're buying a car. Now, I'll give you just an example of what I mean. Let's say, for example, you are buying a $20,000 worth of a car, which means you are buying that car and you get 25%. It means you only pay $15,000 in terms of what you're paying. Bitcoin in 2016, early 2017 was below $1,000. So which means you sent B Forward 15 Bitcoins. You sent 15 Bitcoins, this 2016, early 2017. You sent B Forward and they sold you a car worth $20,000. But they were insisting what? Pay us in Bitcoin. Today, your car, how much is it valued? But how much is B Forward holding in terms of the 15 Bitcoins you sent them? It's close to $1 million. So your $15,000 today is equivalent to $827,000 if you just bought those Bitcoins and you forgo your car and you held into those Bitcoins. And this is the reason as to why you see, and I shared this so that I can share with you why Elon Musk is saying Bitcoin paid to Tesla will be retained as Bitcoin, not converted to fiat. I get to see now, you get to see the bigger picture. Don't liquidate your Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies if you don't need to. Hodl. Don't be a trader. Traders don't make money. Investors make money. And investors think long term. To my last news, we come to Africa. Of course, a few weeks ago, we shared that Nigerian Central Bank had banned cryptocurrency. And of course, they did a clarification that crypto trading has not been banned. I remember even after that announcement, Binance was the first exchange to say they have halted Nigeria, or what is it called? Their currency to be used on Binance platform. I don't know whether it's still functional right now. And a senior official from Nigerian Central Bank says the financial institutions are banned from trading with crypto companies, but people can continue to trade. Look at this. People, you as an individual, you can trade, but institutional financial institutions are banned. What is happening? As an individual, how much can you trade in Bitcoin? Not that much. But if an institution says, now we are buying part of Bitcoin or trading in cryptocurrency, they're going to move a whole lot of money into the space. And these are some of the things that central banks are doing, just not to really block cryptocurrency, but to slow the growth. And this is why I tell people, think about you. Don't think about governments and other institutions. Think about what are you doing as a person to really not miss this greatest transfer of wealth. So that concludes my sharing for today. So I'll go to the chats. Bro, I hope you've been answering. Luis, I hope you've been answering any questions that have been there. I hope you've learned something. I hope you've gotten value from our Bitcoin 101 today. And it's amazing.
There's only one person, I think, Oscar, don't really actually say what is the negative version or angle of Bitcoin.
Yes.
Maybe,
in fact, it's Lilian who asked, what is the negative version angle of Bitcoin? I think it's just like fiat currency. You can use...
okay, my network is not very good.
Yeah, no worries. For Lilian, I can tell you one thing. You can use dollars for evil. I can have like maybe $100,000 and I can use that to harm somebody. I can use it to harm somebody. I can also use that $100,000 for good. I can use it to build a school. I can use it for charity. I can use it for good things. So Bitcoin itself as an asset has no emotions. It has no feelings. Individuals, we are the people who make decisions on how and what to do with what is in our exposure. So if today I decide I'm going to use Bitcoin to buy drugs, Bitcoin it doesn't have emotions. It doesn't have feelings. It does not think. It's me who have used that to do what I'm doing, which is evil. Am I making sense? So I usually say money does not have emotions. Money does not have emotions. It's just a commodity. It does not think. So the negative version or angle of Bitcoin is people using it for bad things, just like the way you can use currencies to do bad things. So it just boils down to Lawrence as a person, my conscience. Do I want to do good with what I'm holding? Do I want to do evil? Because Bitcoin is a commodity. If you just leave it in the wallet, it will never think, it will never do anything, it will just be there. It will never be there. But I'm gonna decide me as a person, what can I do with what I'm holding in my wallet? So I think that's one of the negative, and this is the reason as why you see scams thrive. Why? Because today I can decide, oh, I have an idea of coming up with a scam where I can scam people in the name of Bitcoin. It's individuals who think these things. And I'll come here, maybe we partner with a few of you and we make a very good marketing plan and all these BS, and we go all out and we scam people in the name of Bitcoin. But Bitcoin does not think. It doesn't have any feelings. It's a commodity. It's us people who, and this is why I usually say, money is not the root of all evil. Love of money and love and lack of money is the root of all evil, because it's individual that it's us who have feelings. It's us who use these commodities to harm or to do evil things in the world. So I hope you guys, you have, of course,
Lawrence,
found.
there's another question.
Yes.
There's a guy called user says
yes,
on bank tokens. That's
yes.
a word of a token. I think about Digital Bank of Africa. There's something about that maybe.
Yeah. Yes, on bank tokens, there's a word of a token from Digital Bank of Africa. Can you say something on these? And do you have a Telegram channel and a YouTube channel? I think, Louis, you've shared those two, right?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, okay, cool. So bank tokens. I think there are three types of digital currencies, just to, if I may just briefly talk about these. And we have what we call tokens. These are corporate. These are things like royalty points, air miles, and the rest. And then we have what we call CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, and we have cryptocurrencies. The difference between full cryptocurrencies and tokens and CBDCs is that these are centralized. Cryptocurrencies are decentralized. The other difference is that tokens come from a corporate, and they are limited to where you can use them. Because, like, for example, Facebook announced they're gonna have a token or a digital currency called Libra. But if I happen to travel from here to China, I cannot use Libra coin there because China banned Facebook, which means that token there does not have any value. I can only, it's limited to where you can use it. And it's the same thing with CBDC. Today, if I want to travel from Kenya to another country, let's say UK, I have to change my Kenya shillings to euros conversion. So if I have a CBDC from Kenya and I'm going to Europe and they have their CBDC, same thing will happen. But if I have Bitcoin, it's open. One Bitcoin in Kenya is one Bitcoin in Europe. I don't have to do any conversion. It's open. I can use it, it's borderless. I can use it anywhere. So of course, the Bank of Africa, they're looking at how can we come up with maybe a token, which is more so maybe backed by a currency, I don't know which one, that can be used for easier transactions, maybe interbank transfers in Africa and stuff. But these does not compete with cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and the rest. It's for you to decide. Do I want to use these? Do I want to use on these based on what you are, of course, you're transacting at? I hope I've answered you, user. Moving on swiftly. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I see there are no questions. I see we are already 11 minutes past our time. I hope all of you have found value.
Maybe Lawrence, I can just clarify a bit. I can clarify a bit on the question that was asked. I think he meant there's a token called, or rather a platform that is trying to come up with what we call a Digital Bank of Africa. So those are, I think, falls to the number one point is talk about the tokens. Really, just companies or people coming trying to. It's a good name, Digital Bank of Africa. So they may use the name for their own gains. We don't know. That's the beauty about this space. You can innovate as you wish. But now, unlike Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, they are decentralized. So I don't know how this Digital Bank of Africa is going to address that. But I think it's a working project, which is yet to see how it will go. Maybe just that's what I want to clarify. Thanks.
And I think also on that note, Luis, just to add that, it's good also to note that we're going to see a whole lot of corporates also tokenizing their services this decade. So we'll see a whole lot of other corporates coming on board and coming up with their own tokens, just to tokenize how you trade in or how you transfer information and also value from one place to another one. So I think cryptocurrencies came to really like do, and this is why we say it's a digital shift, where people are shifting from the old way of thinking to new way of thinking using internet and using computers and other things like artificial intelligence and the rest. So I think it's something that we're gonna see growing. The space is still very young. I usually say we're still early adopters. We're still very, very, way young in the space. So thanks, Louis, for that. Yes.
Can I ask something, please?
Yes, Oscar, go ahead.
I think probably the one of the most important questions right now is if what services you like you offer. Say if I wanted to buy ETH, or would you do that for someone? And also with the Telegram channel, do you what can I get from you guys?
Okay, awesome. That's a great question. I think I'll just answer it directly. DKripto Edge, I'm a co-founder of DKripto Edge. Louis is my other partner. And we started DKripto Edge way back because we saw the gap that was there and misinformation that was in the space. So we just started DKripto Edge for educational purposes. And so we do consultancy. Consultancy means if there's a person, a group, or individuals or corporate who want to learn about the space and they have no idea what blockchain and Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are, we can take them from understanding blockchain, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency for a fee. Okay, for a fee. The second thing we offer at DKripto Edge is a 6-week master course class. This now covers everything where we'll just take you through even exchanges, how to buy and how to trade cryptocurrencies. It's a 6-week course that happens. So DKripto Edge is just a company that we do crypto education basically, just to guide people on how to steer away, number one, from scams. This is why Bitcoin 101 is here. It's for free. This one, Bitcoin 101, every Saturday at 10 a.m. Where like we also tell people you can suggest any topics you want us to research on, and then we can come, because we are not experts. We are also students. We are learning in the space each and every other day. We have courses we are undertaking and stuff, so that we can give you the right information and we can also learn from you. So Oscar, we also do during Bitcoin 101 ask people for topics they would like to for us to research and give back. That's the other thing we do. So we have Bitcoin 101, which every Saturday, it's a free session where you can come ask any questions, clarification, or anything regarding crypto space. This one, we just choose in a random topic. We just choose in a random topic. We go all out there and we do our own research, and then we come back and then we do crypto news and updates on what the markets are doing, and AMA, like now what we are doing right now. Second thing is consultancy. This is for individual groups and also corporates. People who want to understand more about cryptocurrency, we have that done. And also we have now the 6 weeks masterclass, where like we take you through a 6-week course. And by the time you're done with that course, at least you have basis on how you can really go out there, get to know how you can do your own research before you jump into this rabbit hole. So those are the things DKripto Edge offers. And of course, our Telegram channel, Louis does very good analysis, market analysis every day. Join our Telegram channel. You'll be learning a lot on what is happening in the marketplace. We'll also be sharing a whole lot of other stuff in between. We don't promote any company. We are not here to sell anything to anybody. We just we are not giving you financial advice. We are just here to enlighten you and to help you open your mind to what is happening in the crypto space globally. And of course, after all this, we always say, do your own research, do your own research. Don't believe everything me, myself, Louis, or any other person comments on the chat room. Go there and do your own research and call us back. Ask us for any clarification if need be. So I hope Oscar is clear.
Yeah, it is. May I suggest you probably think about, people who want to hit the road running. So to say, people who are chap, they have money, they want to get into the space. Probably think of how you can assist them.
Great, Oscar, and that's where I talked about consultancy. And I think if maybe later you can just DM Louis, or maybe you can also DM us. and we can discuss more on the same. So I can see time is really gone. It's already past 18 minutes. So with that, I want to wish you a blessed weekend. God bless you. God bless your families. God bless your businesses. Unless, Luis, you have anything to add, we can call it a weekend. So Luis says nothing. So God bless you all. I wish you all the best. May you excel in everything that you intend to do. And remember, do your own research. Do your own research. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.